Now, if you want to do easy raised beds, you can get a storage tote. I'm not going to fill this one up with dirt because this is my mini greenhouse. Or you can get whiskey barrels, except this isn't really a whiskey barrel. It's plastic, but it'll work really, really well. These actually cost about the same or less than any kind of storage tote you can use. But in a small area, no assembly required, all of these work really well. They're big enough, you can do a square foot type garden in them. They're deep enough, they're gonna hold the roots. And I need to put a couple more things in my garden. So come on, let's plant. First I'm gonna go ahead and get a little soil in these, then I'll show you what we're gonna do. Now, whichever large container you use, you're going to want to put holes in the bottom. These come with holes in them, and this one would become ineffective as a greenhouse this fall. So I'm going to leave this one alone. I'm going to put this one back in the greenhouse. But let's go ahead and put these in the garden. Now, the reason I chose right here is because we have an area to tie off, and I still have tomatoes to plant. But these need to go in the ground. This is the Heirloom Green. The other cool thing is using containers as raised beds. They're portable. So, if it's determined this isn't where they need to be, I could put them somewhere else. But that's some great roots. And you can take it down there quite a little bit. I'm going to pinch out these first leaves like always. Now I'm not going to have to prune leaves on this for a little while, simply because it's so leggy. But it's got a really healthy stem. You just snug that down in there. Now I'm going to give it a companion right off to the side here. I'm going to put a basil in here, because this is one of the tops that we pinched off, and it's bushing, it's going to bush out really nicely. And it needs to go in the ground. Look at those roots. I'm just going to plant that to the crown. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this other container, although as an example, you could just section this off into 4, and you can plant in the sections, or you could take it right down the middle and do a true foot each way, plant in the center, and then have some companions around the outside. You've got a lot of different options if you're using a round container as a raised bed. Go ahead and put him in first. Go ahead and get this little basil in first. And we're just going to dig this center hole just as deep as I can get it. Now when you're filling with your soil, make sure you leave enough room that you can put a little mulch in, especially if you're going to use compost, because this is where all your nutrients are. So let's take this one. I'm going to pinch these 2 bottom leaves off, of course. And just look how beautiful those roots are. Take that down to the bottom, just backfill, snug it in. And the beauty about pulling it straight off the compost pile, I already have worms in here. And this does have holes in the bottom, so the worms can get out and more worms can come in. And we just do that, and we take a little bit of our mulch, and you just pull it off your deep mulch pile, which is your ground, and just mulch in around it. We give these a little drink and we're good to go. It's supposed to rain tonight, so these ought to set in really well. Then I'll go ahead and run some more trellis string. Now that raised bed was pretty easy to build and it was free lumber, but it's gonna be there. I'm not gonna pick that one up and move it. Now these we can. And that's the beauty of doing a raised bed in a small container. You can do this too. It's still not too late to plant. It's not even summer yet. We got plenty of time. And if you want to learn about the deep mulch, click that link right there and I'll meet you back in the garden. If you want to learn about the living soil, click that link and I'll meet you back in the garden. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.